You see this little copper tip, Alex? This was a pristine, sharp-edged piece of engineering about 20 minutes ago. Now it looks like a marshmallow that spent too much time in a campfire.
I was wondering why you were making those frustrated grunting noises over by the CNC table. What happened? Did you try to cut through a bank vault again?
Worse. I got cocky with the standoff distance. I was trying to hand trace a bracket for the old truck, and I let the tip drag across the slag. It's like trying to perform surgery with a lightning bolt, but I treated it like I was doodling with a crayon.
Well, at least it's a cheap lesson, but it's the perfect lead-in for today. We are diving deep into the world of plasma cutting. It's one of those tools that feels like sci-fi, literally cutting with the fourth state of matter, but it can turn into a messy, sparky disaster if you don't respect the physics.
It really is magic, though. You're constricting an electrical arc through a tiny hole and blowing it out with high-pressure air. It's a hot, angry needle that'll zip through stainless or aluminum like a hot knife through butter. But the thing people miss is that it's not just about turning the dial to max and pulling the trigger.
So, for the folks who just unboxed their first machine, maybe one of those versatile dual voltage units, where do they actually start? Because lightning in a box sounds intimidating.
First thing, you've got to pick the right horse for the race. People look at the Seaver rating on the box and think, oh, I can cut 3/4 inch steel all day. No. A Sever rating is a polite way of saying the machine will eventually chew its way through that metal, but it's going to look like a beaver with a grudge was involved. You want to look at the rated cut. That's the thickness where you can move at a steady 15 inches per minute and actually come out with a clean edge.
Right, because if you're moving at a snail's pace just to get through the material, you're just dumping a ridiculous amount of heat into the piece.
Exactly. You end up with a heat-affected zone the size of a dinner plate, and the metal warps into a Pringle. If you're doing auto body work or anything where precision matters, that's a death sentence for the project.
Walk me through the anatomy of the torch. Because I see people just buying consumable kits off the internet, but they don't always know what's in there.
It's a stack of precision. You've got your electrode in the back, then your swirl ring, which is basically a little tornado maker for the air, then your nozzle, and finally the shield cap. Now here's a detail that gets overlooked. The air. Plasma cutting isn't just electricity, it's pneumatic. If your shop air has even a sneeze's worth of moisture in it, you're going to blow through those electrodes in an hour.
Oh, I've seen this. The arc starts sputtering and turning that weird green color?
That's the smell of money burning. You need a dedicated moisture trap. Dry air is the difference between a cut that looks like a laser and a cut that looks like a jagged mountain range.
Okay, let's talk technique. I see a lot of beginners, and let's be honest, you on a Tuesday, wrestling with dross. That nasty hardened crust on the bottom of the cut. How do we kill the dross?
Dross is the ghost of a bad travel speed. Look, if you're getting low-speed dross, it's thick and globular because the arc is widening out and just melting metal without blowing it through. If it's high-speed dross, it's like a thin, stubborn weld on the bottom because the arc is lagging behind. You're looking for that sweet spot where the sparks are trailing about 15 to 30 degrees behind the torch head. If the sparks are flying straight down, you're moving too slow. If they're spraying back at your face, you're racing.
So it's a visual feedback loop. You have to watch the sparks underneath the table, not just the top of the metal.
Always. And for heaven's sake, keep a consistent standoff. If you're hand cutting, use your other hand as a steady rest. I like to hook my pinky or the side of my palm on the workpiece, wear a good glove, obviously, to keep that nozzle exactly 1/8 of an inch off the deck. If that height bounces, your bevel angle goes haywire.
What about straight lines? My hands aren't exactly surgeon level after 3 cups of coffee.
Neither are mine. Never cut freehand if you can help it. Grab a piece of angle iron or even a scrap of plywood. Plasma doesn't care about wood if you're moving fast enough. It won't catch fire instantly. Use it as a fence, but remember the offset. The center of your arc isn't the edge of your torch. You have to measure the distance from the side of the shield cup to the center of the nozzle and adjust your guide accordingly.
That looks way too easy when you do it. But what about circles? I've seen those fancy circle cutting jigs, but they look like something you'd find in a clockmaker's shop.
You can make one with a scrap of flat bar and a bolt. Drill a hole for a pivot, tack weld a pin at the center of your circle, and just swing the torch around. It's primitive, but it beats trying to sand a lumpy circle for 3 hours after a bad hand cut.
Speaking of primitive, I wanted to ask about gouging. I saw a video of some guy basically erasing a bad weld with a plasma torch. Is that a real thing, or is that just for the pros?
Oh, it's real, and it's a lifesaver. You swap out the nozzle for a gouging tip, which has a wider opening, and you tilt the torch at a shallow angle, maybe 30 degrees. You're basically using the plasma arc to blow out the metal in a groove without cutting all the way through. It's perfect for removing a bracket you tacked in the wrong spot or cleaning out a cracked weld. Just wear your heavy leathers. The sparks go everywhere. It's like being in the middle of a 4th of July finale.
I'll keep that in mind. No flip-flops on gouging day. Now, pushback time. You mentioned earlier that plasma is faster and easier than oxyfuel, but then you listed like 10 things that can go wrong. Is it really better for a home shop?
It depends on the soul of the person using it. Oxyfuel is like a classic car. It takes a lot of tuning and feel to get that flame right. Plasma is like a modern fuel-injected engine. You plug it in, you set the air, and you go. Plus, oxyfuel can't touch stainless or aluminum. It just turns them into a puddle of sadness. Plasma doesn't care. It'll cut anything that conducts electricity. To me, for someone building furniture or working on cars, plasma is the clear winner.
And the ground clamp. We haven't talked about the ground. I've seen people clip it to a rusty part of the table and then wonder why the arc is flickering.
That's the classic invisible wall. Electricity is lazy. It wants the easiest path. If you clip to a rusty table, the current has to fight through the rust, through the table frame, and through the gap to your workpiece. Clip that ground directly to the piece you're cutting and grind a shiny spot for it first. A solid ground is like a clear highway for the arc.
So give it to me straight for the person who's frustrated. They've got dross, they're burning through tips, and they're about to put the machine on Craigslist. What's the one thing that changes the game?
Slow down your brain, but speed up your hand. Most people move too slow because they're scared of the sparks. They're hovering, overthinking it, and that's when the heat builds up. Trust the machine. Let that arc lag just a bit, keep your height steady, and listen to the sound. A good plasma cut doesn't roar, it hisses. It sounds like a snake, not a jet engine.
I like that. Listen for the snake.
Exactly. And when you get a perfect cut and the piece just drops out of the sheet with a little ting on the floor, man, there's nothing like it. It makes all the charred fingertips and ruined nozzles worth it.
Well, I think I'm ready to go ruin a few nozzles of my own now.
That's the spirit. Just keep your eyes on the sparks and your ground on the clean metal.
Thanks for the masterclass, Tiger. Let's go see if we can actually make that bracket for your truck look like a professional did it.
Hey, professional adjacent is my goal. Let's go. Woodworking is about patience, but metalworking, it's about control. Once you learn to dance with the arc, the metal stops being an obstacle and starts being whatever you can imagine.
And if it catches fire, at least it's a good story.
You're not wrong. Stay safe in the shop, everyone.